Given today's current fertility problems, it's definitely great that AMH was discovered.
Yes, absolutely. As a humanity, first we invent problem, later on we invent solution for that problem. So the invention of problem was we actually decided about 40, 30, 20 years ago. So age is not that important. So you can safely delay childbearing age from 20s to 30s, maybe even 40s. We didn't actually consult with female fertility biology, reproductive biology. We didn't take into account is whether female fertility actually agrees with our societal plans and decision of just delaying fertility by 10, 20 years. So then as a consequence, now we're seeing this massive problem of infertility and in women who try to conceive later. So this is a problem we invented about 50 years ago. Then we invented solution for that. The solution is egg reserve test and egg freezing. So the solution we invented for egg reserve test, which is AMH and antral follicle count, we invented 30 years ago, and we mainly used for infertility treatment. So now, actually, as of 2025, 2026, because of TikTok and Instagram live streams we're doing and some other groups may be doing, we're improving awareness, saying, look, this is actually a solution not only for couples undergoing infertility treatment, there's solution for everybody. This is a tool to detect everyone's egg reserve and predict their future egg reserve and then make plans accordingly. So the second solution we invented, we invented solution to establish who are at risk of running out of eggs by the time they try to conceive. That's AMH and AFC test done twice. So to establish your average egg reserve and predict your future egg reserve. Second solution we invented is so you did the AMH test at the age of 25. You realized actually you have low egg reserve. You're planning to start family at the age of 35. By then you're going to run out of egg reserve. Okay, so this is a screening and diagnostic tool. So what you can do about that if you cannot have a child before the age of 35, for example. So which means we have invented a solution for that, which is egg freezing and embryo freezing. Yeah, so you can freeze sufficient amount of eggs to get 95% chance of having a child, or sufficient amount of embryos to get 95% chance of having a child, or you can freeze both eggs and embryos. Freezing frozen eggs gives you a chance to have a child with your future partner's sperm. Frozen embryos using donor sperm works as a backup plan. Yes, first we invented the problem. The problem is we didn't consult with fertility biology, and we just pushed childbearing age by approximately 10 years. From most critical 20s to 30s, maybe even 40s. Then we invented problem solution, which is egg reserve testing, AMH and AFC test, and egg freezing and embryo freezing to preserve the fertility. But you have got one generation here lost between this inventing problem and the solution. And this is the current generation of women who are suffering with infertility because they followed societal trends. It's not their fault. So because everyone was putting career and all professional goals, all other goals first, or the life becomes so fast and so challenging, it's not easy to have kids early. And then they didn't have a solution for that problem. They didn't know that actually there was a test which can tell their future egg reserve, which is AMH test and AFC test. So and now they are really having problem with infertility. So, and I've been telling about this for last since 2010, so last 15 years in professional publications, conferences, and on professional platforms, saying please introduce AMH test and AFC test as a screening and monitoring test for infertility. So, of course, it didn't reach public because we were mainly talking in professional platforms. Because of this TikTok and Instagram, now we have an opportunity to directly tell the members of public, so to take ownership of their fertility, to go to their GP, whatever the GP's opinion, whatever their fertility specialist opinion, because they may be very behind in terms of understanding of the role of AMH and AFC and egg freezing or embryo freezing. go to their GP saying, look, I want to know my egg reserve. I want you to do AMH test twice, 2-3 months apart, antral follicle count scanning twice. I want to know whether I have a critically low egg reserve, medium egg reserve, or high egg reserve. Then I want to chart my future egg reserve in the 5 years, 10 years, when I am ready to have a kids. If I am going to have a very critically low or absent egg reserve by then, I'm going to do fertility preservation. So, or if you don't need to do fertility preservation, because awareness itself can be actually the solution you need. Let us say you are planning to finish your education, do career, and do sort out your finances and find a good partner, right partner, and then have a kids in 10 years down the line. Now your actually egg reserve test is not agreeing with that. It's saying no. By the time you try, it's too late. Then you need to reprioritize. You say, okay, so we do the education, finance, yes, we can look into it. We need to find a partner quickly and focus on completion of family first, then do other life goals after that. So that means you don't even need fertility preservation. Just simple doing AMH and AFC test twice equips with your actual egg reserve, and knowing your egg reserve, and make a plan. So you have got 3-4 different timelines, in your life. Let us say you have multiple goals. Your age is 20, now you have got goals. One goal is to finish your university. Second goal is to establish a very good professional career. Let us say finish university at the age of 23, good professional career by 30. By then you are in a good relationship, stable, loving relationship. Then you want to do some savings for for housing, or buying some apartment, or any other, or doing travel around the world. So you have got timelines for each: 23, 25, 30, 35, 40. And usually this fertility gets kicked towards the end, age of 35, 40, because you are not aware. You think, okay, fertility can wait. I can see women getting pregnant at the age of 40, 45. I can wait, and I will start at the age of 35, 40, or 45. So, but those women who is getting pregnant at the age of 40, 42, 45, they have a very high egg reserve. So, and you may have a low egg reserve. So, which means if you do this testing, AMH and AFC twice, and if you know your egg reserve, then you may reshuffle in your plans, then put fertility as priority. You don't have to put fertility as a priority. I'm not saying everybody has to put the fertility as a priority, but for women who have a low egg reserve, at risk of early menopause, premature ovarian insufficiency, diminished egg reserve, this is a 10 percentile, 25 percentile, depending on how you want to cut this timelines. So they will need to put fertility as a priority. The solutions for that is either to complete family early by trying to conceive naturally early, or preserving their eggs, or preserving their embryos.